Hello and welcome everyone to episode 97 of One Piece at a Time, the One Piece read-through podcast where we read and discuss 5 chapters of the One Piece manga each and every week. I'm your host, Derek Bittner, and I'm joined by my wonderful co-host and freelance letterer at Shonen Jump, Brandon Bovia. How you doing, Brandon?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm, of course, Brandon Bovia, letterer of manga like Dragon Ball Super, Kaiju Number 8, and many, many more. And we're at a little bit of an emotional wrap-up here, and it's nice.
It's funny how we kind of broke up this post-Enies Lobby stuff as all lore, and now all, I guess, kind of preparations for the next arc, in a way.
Yeah, we're kind of tying up all our loose ends.
Yeah, that's a better way to put it. That works out. And it's I'm like, as I was reading, it's like, oh, thank God there's so much less to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, we went for like an hour and a half last week.
Very close to it. It was intense, but you know, there's a lot to say and not as much to say here, but I still think there's some obviously good stuff. So
yeah,
let's do it. Let's essentially wrap up the entire Water 7 and Enies Lobby arc. Holy crap.
Yeah, we did it. We did
it. Chapter 436, Trunks from Frankie House. And now that just puts like fan art in my head. It's like just Trunks from DBZ as a member of the Frankie family. A little weird.
Oh, God. A little bit. Somebody's got to draw that.
Oh, somebody
but
will.
I'd like in the cover story here, it looks like Enru is just kind of along for the ride now, or he's just like, I'm going to watch this creature.
Yeah, exactly. He did not die from my electricity. He's not a threat to me. What am I in for here?
Yeah. No, what are you in for?
Yeah.
Again, you're on the goddamn moon.
I love that this thing is called Lieutenant Spacey.
I see. So it knows it's from space. I have so many questions.
Yeah, we've said before, I have no idea where this is going to go. This one, you really have no idea where it's going to go.
I feel like even compared to the last ones, like just from the jump, this is such a bonkers premise.
I know.
You're just like, okay, yeah, you see an old villains, like, okay, prison break. Yep, got it. Like, okay, old characters getting into shenanigans. Enru's on the moon.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I don't get it, but sure, why not? But into the chapter itself, everybody's getting ready to leave, and they're basically asking, "Hey, we all on the same page about Usopp?" And yep, we've got it, and we're all in agreement about what we want to do. We don't know what that is, but they're in agreement.
Yeah.
And then Sanji is still upset about his wanted poster.
I love that he's so upset that he starts speaking in symbols.
It's just and that face is one of the freakiest of all times. Like, I've never seen Oda draw a face like that.
Pure despair, as Sanji says, he's just going to be laughed at by all the ladies of the world. Which is, I mean, when you think about it, it's like, I feel like this is the One Piece equivalent of having like a bad selfie go viral or something, or just
it's very much that. It makes Nami reflect. It's like, I was lied to. The guy said he was a reporter for the Town magazine. At least it's a good shot, so I shouldn't complain. And then poor Chopper is like, I fought hard. I'm worth more than 50 berries.
I do like that Oda dedicates a whole like half page to this next gag where we we sort of like cut to Navy headquarters, and then this Vice Admiral looking guy's just like, why don't we have a picture of Blackleg Sanji? Their bounty's over 600 million. And the photographer is just like, it's solid black. I don't know what happened.
Did you by any chance forget to take off the lens? It's like, take the cap off. It's like, oh crap. He doesn't respond, but yeah.
It's just kind of it's just like a silly little cutaway. I'm surprised that it has even a half page for it, but it's just the fact that there's an explanation at all, just like, oh, okay, my headcanon now is that he drew it himself.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. It's like, oh shoot, I screwed up. I just have to draw it, and he's not a very good artist, so it's just like, there you go.
Artist interpretation.
And the other great thing about this scene, though, is it's the same guy from the SBS. How does everybody get those pictures for their bounties? It's this guy showing up. He's always there, and ready to go, and it's the same.
I forgot he was in the SBS. Yeah.
It's just that's what he's all about. Not exactly clear, like you can't get a close-up or anything, but it's Oda. Of course it's the same design.
Yes.
he brought back Michael and Weichel.
Yes.
It's the thing. And they look essentially like their sketch. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Straw Hats get to where the ship was being built, and all of Galila is wiped out. Poor Lulu
They're all sleeping on wood.
Yeah, they are exhausted. I love that Lulu has like 5 spikes now rather than just the one. He's just that worn out.
I would like to assume that's just what happens when he sleeps.
Yeah, that's his bedhead.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh gosh, and Luffy just like, hey, I'm here. Give me a ship.
Yeah.
Iceberg's just like, oh, you're here. Well, Frankie isn't around right now, but the ship is complete. But I'll show it to you in his place. And I love that even Iceberg is like, yeah, this ship is amazing. My eyes went wide when I saw the blueprints.
I feel like it's rare to see Iceberg that happy.
Yeah. To praise Frankie's work like that when they have such a contentious relationship.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's nice that I feel like building ships has kind of brought back his like boyhood charm.
Yeah, I like that. I love this introduction. If you want to be king of the pirates, then your ship should be the king of the beasts. And we get the introduction of our new ship, and holy crap.
It's awesome.
It really shows just how much bigger it is than the Mary. And
yeah,
you see all these like, you get the top mast where it's actually enclosed in the back end, and you get the trees all spread throughout from Belmare. This thing looks awesome.
What an upgrade, right?
Like, I love the Mary, but this thing looks great.
The Zoro comments that it's twice as big as the Mary.
and Nami's like, oh, is it a sloop? And of course Sanji wants to see the kitchen.
Yeah.
He's excited all about that.
I love this. They're all getting on board, exploring the ship, but they're all just like, this is great. It's cute. Yeah,
it's nice to see them like showed off, and you're kind of excited too. It's like, what did Frankie come up with? And I love the start of this joke throughout throughout these chapters. Whereas, is the figurehead some kind of flower? Oh, I think it's all supposed to be a lion. And I didn't notice the first time. I love the little roar behind it.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
it's so cute.
Yes.
Also, great, so unique to have the deck actually be a lawn. You can see like swings hanging from the trees. Like,
yeah,
it's cozy.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like a park almost.
Kinda, yeah. And I love how Nami's talking with Iceberg. It's like, oh, it looks like it has a lot of mobility. Just look at the big sail. It's like, oh, it's a brigantine. Their ships that are square rigged in the front and have a gaff sail in the back, like a sloop. They have incredible maneuverability if the navigator is skilled enough to use it. And she's like, ooh, sounds fun.
Yeah,
I like there's various aspects tailored to each of them.
Yeah, they've got a fridge with a lock finally. Sanji's happy,
and a huge oven. It's like, oh, it's so happy and so great. And it's like, all right, where's Frankie? We got to thank him. And he's like, well, he doesn't want to see you guys anymore because he knew you were going to ask him to join you as your shipwright. And he's like, wait, does that mean he doesn't want to join? He's like, no, just the opposite. If you asked him, he wouldn't be able to say no. That's why he's hiding.
Yeah. It's just, I feel like a lot of what we get in this set of chapters is like, I feel like Oda's kind of poking holes in sort of like typical, I don't know, like machismo almost, or like pride.
Oh, yeah.
Where they're like, it's like these men who are too proud to say their true feelings. So it's just like they will do, obviously Frankie wants to go with them, but he's just like, he can't bring himself to do it.
Yeah, I mean, he's had this whole thing about him for the longest time. It was like, I'm not. He's like actively crying. He's like, I'm not crying.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, he believes he has a duty to this island, and Iceberg's like, I think it's stupid, but if you really want to take him, you'll have to force him. He's like, and this is interesting from Luffy. He's like, force him? Are you sure?
I was gonna say, Luffy, you've forced just about everybody else on here.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, he's definitely a lot more forceful early on.
Yeah.
Later on, he started relaxing a bit when it comes to that. But yeah, it is kind of funny to see that little shift for Luffy.
Yeah.
Although, once again, when he met, I forget his name, it's been so long, the guy in the treasure chest invited him in to be part of the crew.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
It's like, I honestly thank God he didn't become part of the crew.
Yeah. Oh.
But the Frankie family returns back to their not greatly constructed Frankie house. Like, oof. And it's like, oh, there's Frankie
trying.
just hanging out. It's like, hey, you want to go with the Straw Hats, right? Why aren't you with them? It's like, and Frankie's like, hey, what are you talking about? It's like, look at your skills. You suck. You can't force me away like that.
I feel like this is Frankie trying to find any excuse he can to stay.
Yeah. It's just like, you guys can't function without me. And like, you know, what are you doing? And they're like, hey, when you were building that ship, you look happier than we've ever seen you. And you know the Straw Hats are looking for a strip, right? That's why you came running back here. So, and you've got a bounty. You need to go.
I really love this from the Frankie family because, like, you know that, like, they care about him so much. They just want what's best for him. And I think they all agree that, like, no, this is hard for us too, but, like, man, you got to go.
Yeah. So what can they do? Steal his trunks.
Yeah. I don't even understand how it really happened. Like, you just sort of see it off panel, like, Frankie gets knocked down and then all of a sudden, nope, he's got his trunks.
And that face when they steal them. And then they get the free. Boy, we did not need to see Frankie's butt. We were already seeing way more of him than we probably need to, but now
we see a whole lot of it, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we kick off this whole, like, this game of keep away, basically, where they're all running away with his only pair of swim trunks.
And that also makes you question things. Like, who knows how often Frankie gets a bath? Like, who's trunks? Oh boy.
Gross.
And it becomes this game of them just running away from him, and much of the city getting destroyed as he's trying to chase after them.
Yeah. So here we have Frankie running just like buck naked all across Water 7.
And all the people are like, it's a pervert. He's a streaker. Don't let the children see the pervert. And we got this baseball covering him up.
Yep.
And
of course, it's great visual gag.
oh yeah. And he's just systematically taking out each of the Frankie members, like incapacitating them with his cyborg powers. And that's when Luffy shows up. Is like, hey, throw him to me. I'll get him away. It's like, and I love this interaction.
Yeah.
Luffy's actively running away with the shorts, and Frankie yells out, hey, do you like the ship? Yeah, I've never seen such a great ship. Thanks. It's like, well, of course.
Yeah, I love they're having this whole conversation. And they're just like,
meanwhile, woman's yelling out, I hope you get the death penalty for streaking like that.
Yeah.
In addition to my super designs, I also included all of your requests. Did you see the soldier dock system I invented? It's like, not yet. That's the best part. You'll love it. What about the fish tank? There's a room down below. We can see the whole fish tank. You can catch fish from the ocean, throw them in there, and watch them swim around. It's like an aquarium. And you can eat fresh fish whenever you want. So
he's so proud of it.
You love seeing him beam like that. It's just like,
yeah,
it really brings out the happy Ace Ventura-ness of him.
Yeah, and the way that he says, like, to you guys and me, that ship is a real ship of dreams.
Yeah,
which I feel like that's the key word here.
And that's when he's like, "Hey, give me back my trunks," and Luffy tosses him to Chopper, who has to take him by the mouth.
Oh,
and
this poor sense of smell.
Yeah, and then Zoro and Sanji grab a hold of Frankie, stuff him in a cannon for the Frankie family, and fire him towards Scrap Island where the ship is.
Yeah.
And it just end up at Scrap Island. Frankie's embedded in the scrap with just
spreading it.
Yep, in front of the entirety of Water 7, who's now coming towards the edge of Scrap Island just because they're like, what the heck is going on? And I love that like we see Luffy's flag, and in the same position there's the trunks.
Yeah. It's just
thanks for the ship. It's the best ever. If you want your trunks back, though, you have to come with us.
Oh, there it is.
It's a fun chapter.
Yeah, it's just way more of Frankie's hairy butt that I needed to see, but
pretty much.
Yeah,
and it's not over.
I think potentially maybe one of like the most crass gags in the manga so far, but it's good. It's hilarious.
It's making up for all that Nami and Robin fan service.
Yeah.
We do have an SBS, and we got a minor one where we get the name for the what the writer calls Round Dude, the one who actually stole the trunks.
Yes,
his name is Tamagon. He just decided right now.
I sort of refuse to believe that Oda didn't have a name for him until right now.
Yeah. And we got I jumped the gun on this one. It's not as important as I thought, but we do have a question about the devil fruit. It was like, oh, do they all have swirly patterns on them? And we're like, yeah, that's one of their features. There are times I think that Sanji himself is a devil fruit. I'm like, is that an offhand comment, or is like that foreshadowing? Like what? I
think it's just a joke.
It's probably just a joke, but it also is one of those things where it's like, is Oda?
Okay, I will say as of chapter 1100, it is a joke.
that's a pretty long.
You can never be too sure.
That is true. And then we get an amazing response here where it was like, hey, you said you read every single letter and postcard sent to you. Do you still do that? And it's like, yep, I still read all of them. But there was a time where I couldn't read all of them. Back then, I received like 1,000 to 2,000 letters at a time. And I had the editors pick out a couple hundred for me. But recently, the number of letters has calmed down. And he laughs about the fact that the number of letters I got from girls decreased significantly after I got married.
Wow.
Who knew Oda was such a thirst trap?
Yeah, wow. We don't even know what he looks like, but I guess that, fuels the imagination.
Yep, exactly. And he's like, hey, I still read all the letters now, and I keep them in a room at my workplace, but the staff are worried that the floor is going to fall out from underneath us someday, which is like, yeah, I can see
I can only imagine he probably doesn't read them all now.
Probably not. He's just as huge as he's gotten, and
although I do wonder where if he like still keeps them all.
Probably. We saw his office, and there definitely seems to be a spot for them. So
I guess if you're like one of the most successful manga artists of all time, like you got space,
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, chapter 437. Naked Mania, which not the type of naked mania most One Piece fans want to see, but yeah. But then we have the old battlefield, and I don't remember this. I don't remember taking note of this the first time I read through this cover story. I find it so intriguing that each of these moon men are essentially look the same, but in different outfits from different wartime eras. We got a knight. We got sort of, I want to say like a Robin Hood or third. I don't know what exactly the guy in the closest to a Neru is. And then we got basically a straight up Dragon Quest hero. Dragon Quest 1 hero for the one in the front.
Well, he's got I feel like it's a little bit of samurai-ish.
There's a bit of samurai.
He's got the kanji for moon on his shoulder.
Oh, that's amazing. and Neru's expression during all this is amazing. It's just like, what?
Yeah, he's just like, what is going? Neru is the reader right now. You're just kind of like,
yeah,
what is happening?
This is what I came to Endless Vars for.
Yeah.
Either way, we return to Scrap Island, where everybody's still yelling at Frankie to put some pants on and get out of here, you pervert. And it's a showdown between Frankie and Luffy. He's like, hey, you want your trunks back? Join us. And he's like, no, I'm not joining you.
I love this where he just poses with the crashing waves. Has a little poem. A man is naked his entire life. May he be like a lion and stand against the crashing waves. The glint of the sun covering his junk.
Yes. He struck a cool pose while wearing nothing on the bottom. The horror. And
Luffy's just like, I was naive. His will is too strong.
He's a man among men. He's just a pervert. And then all of a sudden, Robin, if you don't mind getting a little rough, I'm willing to help. And that's when, oh boy.
One of maybe the most memorable gags in the entire manga.
Two hands come out of Frankie's legs and grab.
Yep.
And that expression by Frankie.
Just the electric bolts going on in the background. And then I love that, like, even like the rest of the Straw Hats and, even some of the Frankie family, they're just like, whoa, that's a step too far. Like,
she's going to crush him. They're going to come off. They're going to break off, crush like tangerines. It's like, no, Robin, I want him to stay a man when he joins them. Don't break us off.
Yeah. I love that expression for Robin too, where it just feels like, I feel like as an assassin, she's probably done this at least one other time.
Yeah, I feel like this is a really effective technique, honestly. And it's kind of fitting that this became an actual move in that One Piece Odyssey game.
Yeah, I feel like it actually becomes part of Robin's like attack set in a lot of games. Because it is one of her most memorable techniques. Yeah, no, it is like one of Robin's most memorable moments is just like, yeah, I'm gonna completely like
crush this man's junk.
Yeah, I'm gonna incapacitate this man by just all right, there you go. I got it again. I feel like if she's on the job, it's probably a good interrogation tool too. Just like, all right, speak the truth, or I'm just gonna crush you.
Yeah. I'm not familiar with my baseball terminology, but I feel like Frankie just got to second base with Robin. Not in the greatest way, but
oh, I'm sure the shippers have a field day with this one.
Oh, I'm sure. I forget the context of it, but I saw somebody do that Scott Pilgrim approaching Ramona at the bar to talk about Sonic.
Yeah.
The latest one, except it was Frankie and Robin. I forget what he was talking about, but yeah.
That's good.
But Robin just says, hey, if you want a pirate to give up on the treasure he set his sights on, you'll have to give a good enough reason or he won't let go. But he's still refusing. Like, I want to go with you. That's why I gave you the ship, but I have to do something. Basically, I quit being a shipwright a long time ago and I'm not going back.
And I like that Iceberg kind of reveals the key here where he's just like, you built your ship of dreams, but it's not your ship of dreams just yet. And it sort of triggers a flashback where we kind of get just like a little more from like what Frankie's dream is.
He's like, hey, after it all goes out to sea, it'll face battles and hardships. And when it gets to the end of the ocean, that's when it can finally be called the Ship of Dreams. So one day when I make my best ship, I'm going to ride on it as the shipwright. I'll be there for the fateful day. And when that day comes, it'll probably be falling apart. But I'm sure it'll glow brighter than any other ship in the world. It's not complete unless Frankie himself is on it.
Yes. And I think, God, this is such a good parallel, too, because we know that, Tom built Gold Roger's ship. And that is basically, as far as I think we know, like the only ship to have ever circumnavigated the globe. And
yes.
So now here's like Frankie being like, I want to do that, too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, pairing Frankie with Tom, and then of course the more parallels with Luffy and Gold Roger.
Mm-hmm. It's a great way to just connect them all, and the Iceberg kind of lays it all out. It's like when Tom was taken away, you felt that it was all your fault, but Tom already forgave you and showed you the path to take. So you've stayed here. You've united all the street punks. You called yourself a bounty hunter so you could protect the island. You protected this place Tom loved all this time because you felt it was your sin. Basically, forgive yourself.
Yes. Yeah, even if Tom forgave you, even if I forgive you, it won't change a thing. And so, like, I really love that this is about Frankie trying to, like, having to work through his trauma, basically. Like, he's not letting himself move on from this, and that's why he feels like he can't leave. That, like, after everything's been said and done, like, he still owes something to Water 7. Like, he still has to repay that debt. Yeah.
And they're saying, no, you need to forgive yourself and go live out your dream. You've earned that right.
And then he's just crying, man. He thinks about Tom, and it's just, oh.
Yeah. And that's when the Frankie family shows up and like drops off a huge bag. He's like, that's your things, bro. Go live out your dream. Sorry we had to do it like this way. We'll take any punishment, but this is the only way. And he kind of berates them, but all they say is like, we owe everything to you ever since you saved us. We want what's best for you. What's wrong with thinking about your happiness too? And it just shocks him.
And he just falls down on his back.
And that's when he starts crying out about his getting crushed again. It's like Chopper's like, hey, Robin, have mercy. He's crying so much. You'll turn him into a woman. And they're like, oh no, they're gonna pop off like grapes. And he's yelling out, like, darn you, Nico Robin. It's like, Luffy's like, hey, you're not doing anything. It's like, yeah. He's a big faker. He's pretending so he has an excuse to cry.
Yeah. And I love that, that expression for Robin, just pointing that all out. She's just so wise, I guess, so over it.
Yeah.
It's just like, I see through you.
Yeah, totally. And we get these nice flashbacks of how Frankie united all the punks, beat Zambai, and got the girls. And
Zambai, like, younger Zambai, like, he actually looks kind of cool.
I know, right?
Big old chin.
It's like, dang, Zambai. Bit of a downgrade when you joined the Frankie family, honestly.
Yeah. Put on a little weight.
But he brings them all together. They encourage him to, like, go on, even though they can survive without him. And that's when Zoro and Sanji arrive saying, it's trouble. Your grandfather came back, Luffy. He's on the other side of the island getting ready to attack. They're looking for us.
Yeah, it's like, I thought he said he was going to let us go.
We just got to go now. So
yeah.
Luffy's like, well, here you go, Frankie. Here's your trunks back. Now get on my ship. And that's when he decides, like, fine, you think you're hot stuff? I'll take care of it. I'm not going to let a bunch of amateurs take care of this great ship. So your shipwright's going to be me, Frankie.
Yeah, that's official.
It's official. We finally have our next crewmate, which brings us to 7, I believe.
Yes.
What was Luffy's like declaration at the very beginning? Like he was thinking of like a 8 or 9.
10.
10, round 10.
Yep. Yeah. We're at 10 now.
Are we? Oh wow! I don't even think I realized that. Holy crap!
Wait, so I think I think Frankie's number 8 then.
Is he? Wait, hold on. Yeah, you're right. He's 8.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, 10? Because if Frankie was number 7, I was like, wait, that's not right. But yeah, you have the original 5.
Technically, we don't have Usopp, so he is technically 7 right now.
I guess that's true. But yeah, you have the original 5, and then you have Robin and Chopper, and now Frankie. So yeah.
Yeah.
Frankie grabs the shorts, picks up his bag, and says his goodbyes to everybody of Water 7 as all the tears flow. And he's off to go for a while with a big badoom, the naked bear butt.
Well, I love that we have a whole page of like heartfelt goodbyes of Frankie reflecting on everything, and then he's just all right. I'm going out for a while. He's just got just that stupid butt out pose.
Yeah,
it's a great way to end the chapter.
It's so much fun, and God, it just makes you love Frankie all the more.
Yeah, no, I'm so glad he's on the crew.
Yeah. I think we talked last time about how there was debate about who was going to join, but as soon as we solved that flashback for Frankie, it's like, I think that's who we're going to get.
Yeah, I think by Enies Lobby, once you have him that active as a character, like even more so than I think Oda pulled the wool over our eyes with like Vivi, but I think even compared to Vivi, like Frankie is so much more of an active character.
Yeah, and somebody they actively need. Like, what are they?
Yeah,
Vivi's great, but what are they going to do with Vivi? What is her role?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, and I guess that's the thing too. Is they came to Water 7 looking for a shipwright, and then they found one.
Yeah, all worked out. But now it's time for chapter 438, Pride, and a new challenger approaches.
Yeah,
the creeping shadow. Don't know what that's about.
There's a lot of life on the moon.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay, then. We start the chapter with a flashback where Sanji reveals that he saw Usopp practicing his comeback speech at the shore. And Luffy's immediately like, hey, we should go get him right now. And like, let's go get him. Let's get him back. And that's when Zoro steps up. Is like, no.
He's like, nuh-uh.
No, we will not let Usopp come back. And he basically is like, whatever Luffy and Usopp were thinking when they started arguing and who was right, who was wrong, it doesn't matter. When two men decide to have a duel, the only thing that matters is who wins. Usopp lost, and he left the ship on his own. This guy might be an idiot, but he's still the captain. And if we have a crewmate that cannot respect the captain when the going gets tough, then we're basically just destined to fail. So,
yeah, and I really like that Zoro's pointing this out here, and it feels like no matter what, despite Luffy being who he is, like, you have to honor his order. And you have to, like Usopp basically dishonored his authority.
Yeah.
And, I feel like this doesn't really come up that often in One Piece because, they often do. The Straw Hats do move as a unit, even if, they're completely chaotic.
Yeah.
But,
the captain wants to do this crazy thing on this adventure. All right, fine.
Yeah. And so I think it is both a matter of, like, honoring the results of the duel. What's done is done, basically. But also, like, Zoro basically lays out here that, like, Usopp has to apologize. Like,
yeah. And this is... We don't see Zoro often acting like a first mate. Like he's kind of there. He's kind of there. He's the serious one almost. He's definitely first mate material, but you don't really see him take step into that role too often. This is, I think, the first real major time.
Yeah, and
or at least
we
one of
see
the first that really stands out.
Zoro says that, like, if you're just gonna let Usopp back in, like, I'm gonna be the next one to leave. And of course, like, Nami and Chopper were just gonna you're making this way more complicated than it needs to be. But I really like Zoro kind of holds his ground on this, where he's just like, the fact that he left means nothing to you.
Yeah. Is like, if he pulls a stunt like this on a whim, there's no way we can trust him. And even like Sanji's like, I'm afraid what he's saying is completely right for once. It's like if Sanji agrees, like, yeah, it's that. And Luffy gives in. It's like, yep, you're right. We went our separate ways, but we still have a couple days left until the ship is finished. There's still time. So just wait for him to come to us.
And I like that it's as simple as just like, we just need an apology. That's it.
That's all we need. He just needs to apologize. So it's entirely up to Usopp.
Yes.
But when we go back to Garp, it's like, hey, we've located the Straw Hats. They're getting ready to sail from Scrap Island. Let's go. And Kobe's immediately like, we just had a very nice goodbyes. It feels awkward attacking to him. It's like, complain to Son Goku. We got mad and forced us to turn back. Who's that guy think he is? It's like, and now there's Aokiji being like, it's your fault. You said you used the excuse because he's my grandson.
I love that he's Garp to Aokiji's just like, shut up, you greenhorn. Just like, that man is an admiral.
Yeah. Garp does not take any lip.
No, he seriously doesn't.
Though it makes you wonder how powerful Sengoku is that he's actually going to get Garp to do this.
Yeah, well, I mean, Sengoku's at the tippy top. He's the fleet admiral. So I guess in that sense, what he says goes. But
that is true.
I like this bit too, where one of the Navy guys like, Admiral, should you be here? And Aoki's just like, it's too much of a pain to go back on my bike. I won't help, so don't worry. And then he's like, that's actually worse.
Yeah, it is. Lazy justice. Gotta love it.
Of course.
But now we go back to Usopp, who is running through the streets saying like, oh, my crewmates are waiting for me with a nice new ship. And he's still coming up with excuses like basically the same ones we saw before, is just like them sucking up to him. And it's like, I don't mind coming back if it says first mate, that sort of thing. It's just completely making up excuses the entire time.
This is also what I meant earlier, but just like, I feel like Oda's kind of poking holes in weird masculine pride of just like not being able to be honest with yourself.
It's a good point. It's a nice thesis for this set of chapters, and it's again slowly rebuilding the crew. Potentially, there's that we were unsure about how to get Frankie to join, and now we have we're a little unsure about Usopp coming to join, and Frankie's just like, hey, are you sure? Like, where's Usopp? And it's like, well, I did wait for him, but I made sure the room at the Galley Lava was never empty. I wanted to wait, and I waited there the entire time, but he never came. So that's his answer. So he'll do fine.
I feel like there's a little bit of regret. Like he kind of laughs it off, but I feel like there's sort of a pained smile in Luffy's expression.
Yeah, and you can see Robin sort of judging. It's like,
yeah.
But that's when Grandpa shows up, and oh boy, he's like, hey, I thought you were going to give us try to catch us. A lot of stuff happened, so I'm going to have to send you to a water grave. Sorry.
Yeah. He's just like, I don't know if this will make it up to you, but I'll fight you single-handed. And we're like, what does he mean by single-handed? And then you see Garp ask for a cannonball. You're just like, oh no.
Yeah, meteor fist, and just chucks that thing. And that I guess that's how he gets his name.
Yeah, I love Sanji's just like, he threw a cannonball with his bare hands.
It was faster than any cannon.
And then you see Garp's like, I hate getting old. They don't fly half as fast as they used to. Just like, oh my god.
And just like, hey, give me 1,000 cannonballs.
I feel like, so this is the part of One Piece where we start to see, I think, that like Oda kind of loves old people.
Yeah, I get it.
There was always a little bit of that. I think about Dr. Kureha in that sense too.
Yeah.
But of just like having cool old people. But like, as far as shonen manga goes, I think One Piece probably has the most like ridiculously capable like old people.
Yeah, like we got Roshi in Dragon Ball, we've got Genkai in Yu Yu Hakusho, but there's only ever like one usually.
Yeah, I think the trope is to have one. And One Piece, I feel like has like a dozen.
Yeah, and it works too because they're from the old age, and so they get this like these. It's the old age is not just one person. There's a lot of crewmates about. There's a lot of pirates from that age that have their own wisdom.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, and you think about we saw Whitebeard in action a little while ago against Shanks. And Whitebeard even was, like he's hooked up to an IV.
And he's still pulling out the halberd to go toe-to-toe with Shanks, so jeez. Yeah. Like, they're not at their prime, but they're still strong.
Yeah, I feel like you get the sense... I guess that's the cool thing about One Piece's setting, is that, like, you get the sense there's a lot of living legends. Because, there's, of course, like, a lot of mystique around, like, Gold Roger and the One Piece, but, like, that was only 22 years ago.
Yeah. Not that long.
So there's still a lot of people from that era, like still kicking.
Yeah, for sure. But that's when Usopp shows up at the shore and he's ready to get in there. He's like, "Oh crap, they're already leaving. I gotta catch up." And like, "Hey, don't you realize I'm Sniper King? Did you give up on me because I disappeared? I'm back. Help!" So I was like, "Come back. Wait for me." And
yeah,
they're all distracted by fending off the cannonballs from Garp.
Yeah. Well, they're one part busy, and then of course there's like Luffy and Zoro are like actively ignoring him.
Yes, because remember what they said. The first thing out of his mouth that has to be an apology, and he's making the excuses and saying, shouting out the things before, and we're seeing flashbacks to how he can't follow him anymore and all that. And they're like, I like that Luffy, Usopp is calling to you, and like I don't hear anything.
Yeah, they're just like, nope.
Nope. It's and he's just like, Usopp's just begging, like, talk to me. Like, don't joke. Are you seriously leaving without me? See how I care. If you're going to be like that, then, he's just thinking back to all of his things. And he finally shouts out, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for being so stubborn, and just in full tears. And
yeah,
damn it, Usopp. And it's like, I know I'm being pathetic, and I know I said I already quit, but let me take it back. Please take me back. Forgive me. I want to be with you guys one more time. Please let me join it. Just in the biggest tears you can imagine. And that's when Luffy outstretches his hand and is just as blubbery as him.
Blubbery. Just hurry up and get on. And they're all both just trying.
Yep. Grabs hold, pulls him on, and it's time to get away. The crew is back together.
Oh man. Yeah, I guess in that sense, it was one thing to celebrate that like we got Robin back and that we added Frankie, but now it feels like we're complete again.
Yes. We finally are complete because Usopp might have been helping, but he wasn't officially part of the crew.
Yep.
And now he's finally apologized and things can move on. So,
yeah.
Whew. Mm-hmm. All right. Chapter 439, 3rd and 7th. And this is a great shot. I love we got the new crew composition with Frankie as part of the team now.
Yeah, it's just a cool shot.
Yeah, time for Frankie to start getting that cover story drip.
yeah, seriously, it's good. He looks good. Well, he's gonna be dripped out, but only from the waist up.
Yeah, pretty much. The leather jacket works, so there you go.
Yeah, it's good.
They're all complete. So like the people of Water 7 are saying their goodbyes, and now it's time to get out of there, get away from Garp. And now they're actually taking in their sails, making them wonder, like, are they giving up? It's like, no, what are they trying to do? They're up to something. And Frankie's like, no, do it. Believe in the ship. And I love how we have that the Luffy, Usopp, and Chopper already doing their little dance.
Yeah, Nami's just like, a few seconds ago you were like, never mind. Nami realizes the pointlessness. It's just like, all right, yeah, just roll with it.
Yeah, and they can't. But the thing is, they can't escape until they name the ship. This is the maiden voyage. It doesn't have much meaning with a name.
This is hugely important.
Exactly. So something involves the lion. So Luffy's immediately like, thought of a great name: bear, polar bear, lion. What?
And then I love how it just escalates and gets even more ridiculous, where he's just like, how about tiger, wolf, lion? It's just like, that's not.
That's not good. Squid, octopus, chimpanzee. Where's the lion?
Yeah.
And Frankie's like, oh, I have an idea for a name. And that's when you get a little bit of a flashback where it's like they see the figurehead and they're like, oh, it's a nice sunflower. It's not a sunflower.
Yeah.
Nobody can identify the mast as a lion. And then Iceberg, of course, calls it a sun. And we start getting the words for it. It's like, this is the ship of the future king of the pirates. That's what you had in mind. And, that's why we have the king of the beasts. And sailing through the dangers of the thousand seas, shining happily like the sun. This is the perfect name. So how about this? So this is Iceberg's suggestion. The Thousand Sunny. And they're like, oh, that's cool. I like this. And I like that everybody else is like, oh, it's better. Zora's like, better than my idea of Big Boss Lionel. And you might have to help me with this one.
Yep.
Robin came up with Ankoku Maru.
Yeah. So Ankoku Maru. So Maru is a suffix, a Japanese suffix that is for ships. And Ankoku means like evil.
Have that sort of pessimistic personality of hers.
Which I feel like
calmly saying dark things.
Yeah, this is kind of Robin's running gag where she just casually has such a warped sense of humor.
And Sanji was going to suggest Monsieur Sunflower.
Yeah, they're all bad.
Yeah, it's all terrible.
Well, I love that, again, we have what triggers the flashback in the first place is Frankie saying, I have an idea for a name. And then post flashback, we're like, wait, that's just the name Iceberg came up with. Here's mine. It's the new Battleship Frankie, Lion Gang Champion.
Which is honestly one of the better ones.
It's one of the better ones, but I had forgotten the detail that it was actually Iceberg who came up with Thousand Sunny. And that's the name of our new ship.
And thank God we don't have to confuse ourselves by trying to say Going Merry instead of Merry Go.
Yeah. So this is the localizations are all coming
synced
together.
Up.
It's Thousand Sunny.
Thank God, honestly.
We're shaving off the 4Kids era.
Yeah, we're still stuck with Zolo.
Yeah, well, we will be for the entire time.
Yeah, unfortunately. But hey, we got our name now. So what are we gonna do? So, all right, take a last look at the beautiful city of water. You won't be seeing it for much longer. So Luffy shouts out, "Goodbye. Glad I got to see you again." Love how he leaves out Meppo's name.
Yeah, he's like Grandpa and Kobe, and I'm glad I got to see you again. He just doesn't remember El Beppo.
Mm-hmm. And I love how Luffy does a cool way of rather than just bounce it back, he actually punches the cannonball out of the sky.
Yeah, which I feel like this is almost like Luffy. I feel like this is his confidence to standing up against his grandpa.
Yeah.
Where, instead of they're still running away, but Luffy has grown to the point where he can just smack the cannonball away. And, he's just we're going to get serious about running away now. Let's meet again somewhere.
Yeah. And so bye. And they wave goodbye to everybody. I love how Kokoro is like, they're saying something. We can't hear it.
Yeah.
And yeah. Frankie says, by combining the air cannon and the durability of the atom wood, this is the amazing emergency acceleration device. And freaking Gar pulls out a giant cannonball that's as big as bigger than the Thousand Sunny.
Where did he get that?
I have no idea. Maybe the ship pulls it along. I got nothing. Yep. But we have the Kude burst that sends the ship flying away, impresses everybody on the marine ship. Even Aokiji, he has a little smile about it. And he's like, hey, it uses up 3 barrels of cola, but it can fly 1 kilometer. If you're Going Merry could do it, there's no reason this ship can't, because it's better in every aspect.
Man, what an upgrade.
But that ship's brave soul will carry on in the Thousand Sunny. If anything breaks, I will fix it. I'm the one to ask about the ships and weapons. Ask me anything. This is your ship. Let's do this.
God, I love Frankie.
Yeah.
He just gets to show off.
Just an immediate, cohesion.
Yeah. He's just it feels like that. He instantly feels like he's part of the crew, and that he understands what needs to get done, and he's just like, I'm here. I'll do my part for this crew.
Yeah. And we end off with our final look at Water 7, where they just basically talk about how the giants are going to hang around there for a little while before they go back to Elbaf, since they have such long lives. And the Galilea is heading back to the workshop. Kokoro is going back to the station. Rebuilding has begun. And of course, Iceberg basically adopts the Frankie family.
Yeah. I do one quick detail, though, although it is just kind of reiterating something we already knew, is that the Giants, they're kind of like, oh, Usopp didn't come with us. So it's like, we're going to Elbaf.
Yeah, we have time. We have time.
Yeah.
But then on a different island on the Grand Line, we see Smoker, who's now, it seems like he did end up accepting the promotion. He's now a Commodore.
Right.
And geez, Smoker, they got the extra belts wrapped around, looking buff as hell, has a new scar on him. Yeah, he's, man, looking good. Even Tashiki's it must be hot on the Grand Line.
Yeah.
That's what I gotta say. Like, even Tashiki's starting to dress like Nami and Robin.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Well, I feel like this is start of it too, as we'll see next chapter, where I'm like, okay, yeah, all the girls are kind of getting Nami-ified.
First they started looking like her face, now they're taking her body proportions. So
Yep.
Now I pulled up.
Oh wait, no, it's this chapter. I'm an idiot.
Yeah. Oh, it is this. No, it's not quite this chapter. It's getting there. It's not quite there yet. But I pulled up that chapter from before, where it was listing off all their ranks. So before, Smoker was a captain.
Okay.
So you had a lieutenant commander, and then captain at the top of that. So he went to the next rank of stuff, where it goes Commodore, Rear Admiral, Vice Admiral. Mm-hmm. So he's sort of approaching the same sort of general rank as those guys. And that's important because he actively says the Navy will always be the Navy. As long as we're part of it, there's only so much the captain can do. What we need now is a higher rank. So I'm going to, I need a higher rank if I'm going to get to the New World and crush the Straw Hats after what they did at Enies Lobby.
Which I find it, actually, I didn't think we would get another peek at Smoker here. The line's interesting for a lot of reasons, but at least he's I guess, he's hot on the tail, and I guess it's interesting that he's still like, oh, the Straw Hats are making a name for themselves. But I do he does point out that, like, after Enies Lobby, pirates all around the world will look up to the Straw Hats as heroes. Because we're starting to get, like, their actions have, like, lasting consequences, which I feel like was the case with Alabasta too.
Yeah, but that was more about challenging the government. This is an even bigger challenge for the government. It was like, oh man, they took out one of the 7 warlords, and they toppled Enies Lobby.
Yes. Yeah.
What the hell? What are these Straw Hats?
Yeah.
They're going to be a little bit more famous now. We won't have somebody like Bellamy laughing at him for only a 30 million berry bounty.
Yeah.
But not just Smoker. We get to go back to Alabasta, where everybody sees the new wanted poster. So we're like, what the heck? Why is Nico Robin part of the...
I love that they're just like, guys.
Yeah. And then, so Vivi's like, oh, I already knew about that. You did? It's nothing. I was like, what? It's nothing? What the heck? You can't even tell what he's thinking, but no matter what, I trust him. He will become king of the pirates because he's on a completely different level than us. And it's cool to see Vivi, how she's grown. I don't think she's been fully Nami-ified to this. She's very much in a conservative dress, I think.
I think Karoo has grown even more. I not remember him being that big.
He looks huge, but it's also been a while.
Yeah, I could just be forgetting, but yeah, I was like, was he always that big?
Yep. But we end off the chapter with a monstrous celebration that's in some ways reminiscent of the feet on the barrel.
Yeah.
Let's make it official. Welcoming back Robin and Usopp, as well as our new members, Frankie and the Thousand Sunny. And I love how Usopp gets crushed amongst all the freaking Kanpai barrels. And now they're headed off to an underwater paradise. Fishman
Island.
Oh, boy.
Yep.
We do have an SBS, though. We got favorite foods for each of the Straw Hats, which it feels very appropriate for all of them. White rice and Neptunian meat. Anything goes well with alcohol for Zoro. Nami is all about tangerines and fruits. Usopp is stories from the Autumn Islands and fish that are in season. Sanji is spicy seafood pasta and anything goes well with tea. Chopper is cotton candy, chocolate, and sweets in general.
All sweets.
Robin is sandwiches, cake that isn't too sweet, and anything that goes well with coffee. And then Frankie, American boy here, hamburgers, fries, and anything goes well with cola. He's the American of the group.
Yeah. Well, there's not to... I guess I can't really spoil an SBS. This is an SBS way later where they talk about, like, if the Straw Hats were all from real world countries, where would they be from? I think Frankie was like, yeah, he's American.
Yeah, that makes complete sense to me. I'm curious what they chose for all the others, because, you know, we have that now.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, I think Luffy was Brazilian, which I think leads well into the, you know, because his actor in the live action is Mexican.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, I don't remember the rest, though.
Yeah, I don't know. It would make sense to me if Zoro's Japanese, though. That fits.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
But yeah, we have another question about the devil fruit. They were saying how they didn't know anything about the devil fruit until they ate it. But during Luffy's time, how did they already know it was called the gum gum fruit? And he's like, well, I will go into more detail about the devil fruit in the main story at a later time. But there is a sort of identification manual for devil fruits. It has information about the name and powers of each fruit, but there are a few that even have pictures to go with it. The gum gum fruit had a picture in this book, but the fruits for Kaku and Khalifa didn't. They had to eat it to find out what the abilities it has, and then go look for the name. So that's how that conversation went. And that is kind of important, as we'll get to soon.
Yeah, actually, it's more important than you think. Yeah, but I think the general thing that, like, there is known information about devil fruits, but it is incomplete. I think is an important detail, and there are other important details that I don't think I can allude to in that answer, but we'll get to there when we get there.
I wonder if there's only ever one. So my random ass theory, okay. I know nothing about this, but you know, we can only ever have one devil fruit user at a time of each type, you know?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
How do we get the fruit back that they can catalog this?
We find out.
Well, my theory is I think when a devil fruit user dies, their body becomes a tree almost that sprouts the devil fruit anew. So somebody else can eat it.
Oh, that's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my best guess, because it seems weird that all of a sudden, like, some tree somewhere else would be like, oh, my original user died. Well, time to sprout a new fruit.
Yep. You're on the right track. That's what I'll say. But we do get an explanation for that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. That is something that, like, in no uncertain terms happens.
Nice. Okay, cool. I'm excited for that. All right. Well, chapter 440. We still went long on this one because there's just a lot of emotional stakes, but that's okay. Yeah. Not as long as last time. Either way, chapter 440, Fire Fist versus Blackbeard, which,
what a chapter title.
Like,
oh boy,
God.
You're just like out of nowhere. Like, I mean, we saw them confront each other, but yeah, we're going back to that.
Finally seeing what's all about that. And, looks like Lieutenant Spacey is dead because there's space pirates.
It looks like a mouse.
I think it's a rabbit. It's probably a rabbit, knowing how the moon legends go.
Yeah. Well, I love
it's like the cartoony rabbit too.
Yeah. I love Enru in the background just, like, kind of face palming, just like, oh God.
What the heck am I watching here? Where that goes, I have no idea, but this is this is some of my favorite chapter tropes. And
yes.
We get it expanded so much from the first time the bounties went out. It's time for everybody to react to the new bounties.
I love these kinds of chapters, like, and we get them a lot.
Yeah,
no, not to worry about that.
I'm very happy for that. Where we go back to the Baratier, where there's a lot of names to remember. Zeph, thank you. It's like, oh boy, now they've invaded, they'll be and live to tell. They won't be able to stay quiet. Everyone will know the Straw Hat Pirates. And then they all start laughing about the wanted poster for Sanji.
Yeah, which is just great.
Oh, gosh. It looks just like him.
I love it because knowing what you know about Baratier, like, they are absolutely the kind of crowd that would clown on Sanji for this. It's great.
Totally.
Yeah. Oh, man, I love that.
And then we go back to Windmill Village, Luffy's hometown, where they're going to party in celebration. The most successful man from the East Blue. Cheers to our Luffy. And we get to see our bartender girl still doing well. The mayor is still very upset. He's like, have you no shame?
Yep.
And I like that. I'm very interested by this line. It's like, what is Garp doing about this? If he hadn't left his grandson alone in this island, this never would have happened. That crazy family, the family's been crazy for the last 3 generations. And does Dadan know about this? Who the heck is Dadan? Dadan?
You'll find out.
Of course.
Yeah, that's one where I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that. Yeah, I don't know, like 200-300 chapters from now.
Of course.
Yeah, just back in your head.
See if I can remember Dadan at some point. Oh, God.
Yeah.
And is this the first time we've had it in the manga actually say that that Usopp's hometown is Syrup Village?
I feel like maybe.
Might be? I don't know.
Yeah, I genuinely don't remember. I don't remember a lot about Syrup Village.
No, I don't either.
Fair.
But in either way, we get to see the kids. We get to see Kaya. And they all recognize, of course, Usopp because of the Sniper King thing. And
yep.
The mask looks so cool. Let's go make it with Clay. And she's like, oh, I got to go back to my medical studies. I have to become an independent as soon as possible so I can treat Usopp's wounds if he comes back injured. And they're all like, lucky captain. I love this version of Kaya because you can just see how much healthier she looks. That's the big thing that stands out to me.
And she's out of the house,
Yeah. Out of the house on her own. Just, it's a good feeling to see just how far she's come without really seeing anything. And hey, we even get to see Zoro's hometown, Frost Moon Village, where
just real quick, they decided to translate the name of Zoro's village. This will be sort of important way later. It's Shimotsuki Village, which is Frost Moon is the literal interpretation of it, but in the back of your, again, another detail for the back of your head, but Shimotsuki Village.
Well,
which they called it that in the live action too.
Oh, did they? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, because I'm aware of Wano, and I'm aware of Wano being very Japanese influenced, and these buildings are very Japanese influenced. So I wonder if this guy's originally from Wano or something like that.
Who knows?
that's sort of my theory if we're going to go into that way.
Yeah,
you don't think about it, be like, huh?
Yeah, there are multiple reasons why it's important to like the name Shimotsuki is important for a lot of reasons. So I think that the fact that the village is named that's an important detail I wanted to point out.
Oh my God. Oh, it's going to be so much fun when I get to stuff that I have no idea what's going on. And I love how this guy's like, I don't know. I don't teach people how to be pirates. So, he's just
I love
troublesome.
They're all like, man, Zoro's from here. Like, he's cool. We want to be pirates like him.
Yeah. And hey, time to go back to Cocoa Village and see how Nojiko and everyone is doing. And I love, like, they're all happy, and she's doing have the tangerines, and I like how, I forget his name, but the leader essentially is like I think you're right. Genzo. That's right.
There we go.
He's like, I'm going to file a complaint, but they won't pick up. I can't let them pass this obscene wanted poster around. Don't you get chased by more marriage seekers than bounty hunters? And he has it blown up on the side.
Look, he's just to illustrate a point.
Yeah, I gotta be able to smack it to be able to really show. But I like that sense of pride in her.
Yeah. Well, God, it goes weirdly dark where Nojiko's just like, if you take away Nami's smile, I will come to kill you.
Yeah, but they keep it on that promise. It was like, not taking she's still smiling.
Yes.
So that's the important part. But of course, we also go back to the kingdom of the Cherry Blossom Kingdom with Chopper, where Dr. Correa has come down to visit Dalton because he called for it. And I love how her shirt's changed to a ox. That's a nice detail. Showing that support. And shows the wanted poster and shows that he's still living among the villagers. And now she's using the rabbits to pull her sleigh.
Yeah.
But hey, here's Chopper. He's like, I don't care what his bounty is as long as I get to see his face. He looks like he's doing just fine. So that's cool. That's cool to see.
I love these segments where we just kind of reflect back on where we came from.
It feels so good. Of course, there's no way for us to reflect on the Skypeans to reflect on this sort of thing, but we did just get to see him thanks to the cover story. So we kind of covered all of our bases.
Yeah, God, I feel like it really feels like when you lay it all out like this, seeing, like it's just like a page each, but like where all the Straw Hats came from, all of their past adventures, it really starts to feel like this world is like a living, breathing world that exists beyond the scope of our main characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it just makes you feel good, and I love how even Dalton's like that bounty has to be a mistake.
Yeah.
Oh goodness! But hey, we even go beyond what we know, kind of, where we actually get to see the resistance or the revolutionaries.
The Revolutionary Army, yeah.
Yes. The island of White Soil Baltigo, which I'm not familiar with that island name. I don't know when that comes up or anything.
I feel like this comes up again, but I don't remember when. The name sounds familiar to me, but I haven't looked up if it comes up again.
We get more names. We get the insurgents in Centauria of South Blue have won. Another nation has fallen. And we won in North Blue, so yeah. And that's when he's told, it's like, hey, don't rejoice over victories. This is war. So, yeah, we're still going. And they get handed a bunch of wanted posters. It's like, what's this? It's like, well, he was the one who defeated Crocodile and Alabasta, and he caused a separate incident at Enies Lobby. They've grown into a major gang with their total bounty being 667 million and 50 berries.
And 50.
Yeah. So that's when this mysterious man leaves to get some air. And hey, it's Dragon.
I do want to point out, I love that. So the guy talking is like, that famous Navy man Garp? Some say that the captain is his. And so it's like they don't know. And I feel like that leads, I don't think he knows that Dragon is his son.
Is related to Garp or the son of Luffy. They're just like, oh, look at this guy challenging the government. That's cool.
Yeah, and then like it's a rumor that he's related to Garp.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Then we
get the
Dragon
full face
again.
Reveal.
Yeah,
because we only saw him with like he was cloaked before, so we only saw part of his face. But like his hair looks so sick.
Oh yeah, it's a pretty cool look, and it's like, hey, there were times in history when it takes a will such as yours together with chance and coincidence to make people question the world. The day will come when we shall meet. I'm like, whew, wonder what that's gonna be.
Ominous. I think. At this point in the story, because like I went back to the chapter 100 when Dragon first shows up, and just like his dialogue is always so cryptic, where it feels like he knows so much more than what he's letting on.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. But even now, he's still shrouded in mystery.
Of course. But it's time to backtrack 3 days when an incident happened on a certain island, and it's the confrontation between Blackbeard and Ace. It's just sort of talking with each other. It's like, it's Commander. It's like, hey, I know you're just making fun of me, so don't use that. Oh, Fire Fist. And we get Captain Marshall D. Teach, the head of the Blackbeard Pirates. And Ace is just like, hey, let's cut to the chase. You know that there's no way you don't understand the situation.
Right, yeah. He's just like, all right, time to stop BSing. Like Ace is here on business.
Yeah, Ace is the first time we've really seen him be serious.
Right, yeah, because he was so goofy back in Alabasta.
Mm-hmm. And even in his own cover story. So
yeah,
this is Fire Fist. This is Ace ready to throw down. And Blackbeard offers for him to join him. It's like, hey, Whitebeard's era is over. I will be the king of the pirates.
Which I feel like is the first time we've heard him say that, where he's like, oh no, Blackbeard, like he's aiming for the same thing Luffy is.
Which is, I'm so curious where that's going to go. Because he's like, hey, I'm going to go kill Straw Hat Luffy at Water 7 and present him as a gift to the government. And he's like, Luffy? It's like, you know him? It's like, no, he's my brother. I'm not going to join you. And that's when he gets shot by the sniper guys. Like, and they actually actively try to take him. He has Ace uses his fire gun, and the wrestler guy tries to throw a building on fire on Ace, and he uses the fire pillar. It shows just how much he was holding back before.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're seeing Ace in action proper, and it's like, holy crap.
Yeah. Remember, he was stronger than Luffy before he got his devil fruit power. So
yeah. Well, and I love even like Blackbeard is just kind of like, Ogre and Bird, just like, who told you to attack him? You are not up to his level. Stay out of it.
And then he gets a Fire Fist straight to them, knocking them all down and just like burning the entirety of Blackbeard's front. Like he's
Yep.
taking some damage, and he starts talking. This is where we get some really interesting stuff. He's like,
Yes.
I know you want to kill me, and I know fratricide is a serious crime among pirates. Yeah, I killed Thatch, the number 4 division commander. So that's 4 divisions now that we know. But I didn't have a choice. He got the devil fruit that I was searching for. According to the rules of the Whitebeard pirates, one who finds the devil fruit has the right to eat it. And I had memorized all the shapes of the devil fruits in the identification manual, so I instantly realized that the fruit that I was searching for was the one that he had. So I stayed on that ship for decades because I knew it was my best chance of finding that fruit. If my bad luck had continued, I might have given up. But because because my friend got that fruit before me, I killed him and took it. Because this power chose me.
Oh,
he considers himself the strongest in the world because of this devil fruit. A rarity even among the Logia. He is a darkness man.
Yep. And you just like that build up where you just like start seeing like black goop just rise out of his arm. And then that final spread is so intimidating where Blackbeard's like, you may be fire, but I'm made of darkness. And like, what does that even mean?
I don't know, but that has some potential where, oh boy, you could just see this being a problem. And it really makes you consider how lucky Luffy was to not encounter Blackbeard after
yes.
after Jaya. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we're seeing more and more of that, of like that's maybe what I love so much about that encounter with Blackbeard and Jaya, because it is so like, I don't know. Like, I feel like a lot of things being left up to chance that just sort of like, oh, you know, like with the way that the other guy like gave him the fruit that exploded or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much testing Luffy's, I guess, luck and destiny in a way. And and Blackbeard, I think a big reason he's hunting down Luffy is that he does consider him a rival for King of the Pirates.
Yeah, for certain. I feel like there's still so much we don't know about Blackbeard, even that I can't quite comment about, because like, God, there's so much here. But this subplot is going places.
Oh yeah, it is. And we have technically one more chapter left of the post Enies Lobby arc. We'll finish that next time and then begin our brand new arc. A controversial one that I'm very interested in revisiting to see how we feel.
Yep, certainly.
So yeah, with that, I believe we've said all we've wanted to say about chapters 436 to 440. Thank you so much for listening, and you can find more of my ramblings and stream VODs over at BitNerd Games on YouTube, or BitNerd with an underscore at the end on Twitter. And Brandon, where can everyone find you at?
I'm at Brandon Bovia on Twitter, talking about anime, manga, games, and my job, and just, man, I'm so excited about One Piece. Like, this is great. Again, like I alluded to earlier, we hit chapter 1,100 in the manga recently, and it's just been fan-freaking-tastic. So,
oh man,
keep reading.
Such a long way to go.
Yeah, but man, we're at 440, which that's not bad, you know.
Yeah, I'll take it. I will take it. So, hey, if you'd like to help us out more, you can support the podcast over at patreon.com/Derek Bittner. That's DERRICKBITNER to listen to the next episode ad-free 3 days early. And make sure to return next time as we discuss chapters 441 to 445 of One Piece. So until then, my friends, bye.
Remember to take life one piece at a time.
It won't be long before everyone in the world will know the names of the Straw Hat Pirates. Their faces, on the other hand... Looking good there, Saji!